Right. Yes, we're eating. Guys here. And by the way, I just want to say, sorry guys, I just want to say we got Darth Fernandez. Darth Nater Fernandez. I can call you that, Nate.
Yeah, I've been called worse.
By the way, we got here Nate Access Power Crafts certified instructor here at Hawaii Crap Shooters, little place where we practice and get better at Pacific Palisades. Again, thank you, Mr. Manishat, Hawaii Crap Shooters. He's the one that's doing all the behind the scenes right now. All right, so Darth, we got about 31 people watching. I'm calling it Darth. Nate, why Darth Nader?
So about 5, 6 years ago, I was starting to get into the dark side. Always been a Star Wars guy, so it just seemed like a natural progression. So you do little things like when you're waiting for the seven, you do one of these. Make the seven come, things like that. Uh, and you'd be surprised. I mean, I learned a lot by talking to the guys that are playing the dark side because all these guys they never want to talk because everybody hates dark side people, right? You're putting all the chips out and you're winning when they're all
Right,
losing.
right.
And but you go and talk to them. Oh, they got all this knowledge. So you start learning a lot from these guys if you just go and talk to them because they can't wait to talk, most of them. And so you start picking things up. And I just the more I learned, the more I realized that most of the books don't have a whole lot of content on the dark side, and it's half the game. I mean, talk to guys like Heavy. If you're not playing the dark side, you're only playing half the game.
Right,
So
right,
you're
right.
only winning or losing half the time, or you're winning half the time and losing half the time. So uh, there's a lot of good strategies you can use. You can spin off the dark side. There's a lot of different hybrid strategies we teach in our seminars, or things like the one hit can't miss, double flats, double bets, those kind of things. So just more ways to you know stay in the game longer, preserve your bankroll, manage your money, and wait for the table to turn or take advantage of the table when it doesn't turn.
Perfect. Thank you again. By the way, Nate is here in Oahu, Hawaii on his vacation
That's
with your
right.
lovely wife. Manishat and I found out that you were in town, and you know what? We were gonna let's do a live,
They,
and
they,
then
they dragged me away from the beach kicking and screaming. Oh no, I got to be there for Money Shot and Chef Dice though. So yeah.
stay at the beach. You too like to. Yeah. But again,
I hold the cabana up. That's my job.
but again, we're excited.
Cabana and Mai Tais.
But again, we're excited because you're in Hawaii. You save basically the whole crew thousands of dollars by you coming here. But you have the bone tracker extended sniper.
Sniper.
Can you talk about that?
So Bone Tracker was. Let me give you a little history on Bone Tracker.
Yes.
Bone Tracker was originally put together by a fellow named Sean. His nickname on the dice influencing boards is Mad Dog. And it's a program. I always got to give Sean credit because it's just a brilliant use of Excel. And I've worked in a lot of industries where people use a lot of Excel, but nothing to the complexity that what Mad Dog put together. And so Mad Dog would start it in like 2000. Every couple of years he would tweak it, put another version out. But he got to the point where he just didn't have time to, between his family and the DI community. So he chose his family. And so Bone Tracker sat there, and it's always been a free download off of the Access Power Crafts site. And you go into accesspowercrafts.com. There's a little button there. You can click on it and you can download it. But there's always people sending us stuff saying, hey, why don't you add this? Why don't you do that? And I had always tweaked a bunch of it. I'd worked with Mad Dog when he added some tabs to it back in like 2005. I drove from Las Vegas and he drove from Salt Lake City. We met in Mesquite, Nevada at a Starbucks at the Casablanca Casino. And we worked on this for about 9 hours. And then we went down to the Casablanca and tossed dice for about 4 hours and both drove home.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, it was a great day. It was a
Chronics.
great day. Yeah, it was hardcore stuff, dice and computers. And but it got to the point where as we learned more and more about DI and we learned more and more about the analytics involved, that there was things we could supplement on the uh, program. So I started fooling around with it. Other people like Mark Evangelista started fooling around with it. And then when COVID hit and all the casinos were closed, we had a lot of spare time.
Right, right. Everybody.
So, COVID gets blamed for a lot of stuff, but the one thing it did help was it gave us enough time to kind of put all these tweaks in. And at the same time, about 3 months before COVID, I had a meeting at the Mandalay with a guy on our board that's nicknamed Toaster, and he explained to me how he was doing face matching with different sets. And he had explained it to a couple other people who didn't quite get it, but I kind of got it because I was at the point of in my DI journey where I understood how changing sets could be a vital weapon in your arsenal. And so the whole idea behind that was you could, if you were using this kind of set, there's another 23 sets that match this set that give you sevens the same way. So if you're not making sevens with this set, you wouldn't be making sevens with the other set, of course, unless it went wonk or bounced off
Right.
the board or something like that. So when I realized that I could change those sets at will and not have the nasty numbers show. Beforehand, people would just change their sets. It's like, oh, I need aces for the ATS, so I'll put the ones on top and maybe that'll work. Well, it might, but it probably is not. And you hear all these stories. Oh, I changed sets and I sevened out.
Right, right.
And it's like you change sets, you sevened out because you changed your SRR because you went to a set that was in a different category that has more SRRs. You went from like a V2 to something like parallel 6, and all of a sudden, instead of getting the 12, you got a 7, or you got the notorious 6-1, which we all hate when
Right,
we're
right.
trying to make a 2 or a 12.
Taurus
So
one.
yeah, exactly. Or notorious 1-6. Yeah, exactly. They're both evil.
Exactly.
So anyway, that was kind of a tangent, but there's been a lot of things we've learned in the last 4 or 5 years, and we're trying to put that now in the bone tractor. So we've put a lot of more transposing capabilities in the bone tractor extended, and we've put a lot more, analytics in there so you can see what you're doing. That at the same time, Mark and I, 220 Inside, you know him from Heavy's boards. We've been working on a more advanced version that actually has the coaster chart in there. I took the material Coaster had done and I put it into Excel. I think Brian has that on the screen there. We could blow everybody away and flash it up now, I guess.
Big coaster one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're doing here is you've got 24 columns of all the sets, the 576 dice sets divided into 24 columns. And each column makes sevens the same way. So once you know your column, now you can freely change in the set. And so some of those sets are going to be 12 rich, some are going to be field rich, some are going to be 4 and 10 rich. So if you need a 9, you're a couple of sets that are 9 rich. So now you don't have to guess. You don't have to take a chance when you change your sets. Oh, is this set really going to make 9s? Or is it just, oh, I made a 9 with this set 5 months ago. I'll try it again. And so that's what we're trying to do here.
So we got the coaster on the screen. Wow. One thing about this, one thing about Access Park Crafts, you need to at least try it in order. It's like riding a bike, right? You need training wheels first. Then after that, you'll get used to it. Then it starts getting
well,
more
it's
better for you.
well, it is and it isn't. I mean, when you get right down to it, we got our dice here,
Mm-hmm.
and if you just pick them up and flop them down there, you got 36 versions, 36 different combinations you can have. But if you keep them on axis and they're going through the air like this, and they hit the ground, and they hit the table, and they sit on the ground, now you only got 16 combinations.
Right.
So what you've done is you've taken basically gone from 36 to 16. Over half of the possibilities are gone. Now, some of them are good possibilities, but most of them are bad possibilities. when Heavy put together the whole Axis Power Crafts theory, and he put together his reference card.
By the way, shout out to Heavy. I know he's on the chat, and then
Yeah.
thank you again for all you've done for the craps community.
Oh, you got a super chat, by the way, by MB.
Oh,
1999 super chat.
MB, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, MB.
He wants the info on Bone Tractor. He said, please email me.
Yes, info.
And we'll have all that info
Yes.
at the end, right?
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
So right now you can download the original Bone Tracker right off of Heavy's front page on Access Power Crafts. You can also, if you're a member of his forum, download the extended version.
Okay.
So, but what was interesting about the card here, I'm holding it up so that
Yeah.
hopefully we get a good shot of it. Heavy, when he put this card together in, I guess it was like 2001. It's trademarked somewhere on here. Like, oh yeah, there it is, 2002. But I think he actually did it in 1997. Uh, Heavy was the first person to really organize actually what the six primary reference sets are. And if you look at the original Bone Tracker and the Bone Tracker Extended on the Transpose tab, you will see these very six sets. So if you're looking for a V2 set, this is it. If you're looking for the V3 set, this is it.
Yeah, let me bring it up close.
Bring it up there close.
Well,
And this is one of the key tools that we use in our Access Power Crafts seminar. Because, for instance, when you have the V3, and I'm going to try and do a V3 here, and I'm going to try to hold it up for the camera, and that'll be fun because I'm going to do things backwards here. So when you have a V3, now I know a lot of you guys like to use the hardware set, which would be threes up here and maybe twos or fives here.
Correct.
But this is a V3, and the reason the preference for the V3 is if it stays on axis but rotates, now there's only one pair of sevens on axis.
Correct.
So out of the 16 possibilities on axis here, you've got a 1 out of 8 chance to make a 7. And if you do enough tossing and practicing so you know which faces come up the most, like on the second tab of Bone Tracker, you can see the facial appearance percentages. And theoretically, you're throwing random, each one would show up 16% of the time. But what you want to do is you want to see which ones of these 16 are showing up the most. And then you can start seeing what happens with your particular set. So one of the most common questions we get on the internet is when we start talking about, oh, I was at Casino XYZ and I had 28 tosses. People say, wow, 28, what set did you use? Well, I used a set that I did 2,000 Bone Tracker tosses on. And oh, by the way, I changed that set 5 times. So I was trying to make the ATF.
Okay.
So it's like,
That's not
true.
true.
The set works for me, but it's not going to work for them.
Right.
So, that's something we always want to emphasize.
Going back to what you just said, yes, we got Bone Tracker, right? How many throws actually we do have to throw to get an accurate dice set?
So the original Bone Tracker was set up to do 720 tosses, and that was basically so that it was 20 times 36 to make the math all look good,
Yeah.
so that people wouldn't get scared by the fractions. And what you find is you need probably 350 to 500 tosses. That's minimum. And I'd rather have 500 than 350. And but what's also important is you look at the first page, you want to see your percentages on axis. Because if you're like 35% on axis, that means that you're not getting the kind of dice behavior you want to get. So 35% on axis basically means, random person is just flinging them down the table.
It's a
It's going to
card random
go
roller.
at 44%. So most DIs are shooting for 48% or more. And the skilled guys are generally over 50. And there's 2 or 3 guys I know that, they practice 3 or 4 hours a day, and they're up in the 55, 56% range.
Is it money shot?
I don't think Money Shot's practicing 4 hours a day.
Oh, that's not so it's him.
I must have been his evil twin. Anyway, there's a you see right away that most DIs, all these people, there's always a couple of guys on the internet that say, "Oh, I'm 80% on axis." It's like, "Oh, show me the data," because I've never seen a guy at 80%, because that means 4 out of 5 stay on, and yeah, I've never seen that. So if you're out there and you've got that, send me the file. I'd love to chat with you. More importantly, I like to bet with you. But
Right.
uh,
Chris says he's like at 80%. Tony always
oh
tells me,
yeah,
right before big, I'm at 80%.
No.
oh okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
He's the most exciting craft player.
yeah. That's with a chopping hatchet in one hand too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so what we're trying to do by going from 36 random to 16 predictable is now, oh, we're using the V3, which is here it is now. You're using the V3. Now there's going to be, if you look at the back of the card here, on the back we have the breakout for if you have 36 versus 16. So on a V3, you have 3 ways to make a 6 or an 8, only 2 ways to make a 7. So now all of a sudden you've changed the math of the game by being on axis. If you got 3 ways to make a 6 or an 8, 2 ways to make a 7. Whereas the casino's thinking, oh, 6 ways to make a 7, 5 ways to make a 6 or an 8. So now all of a sudden your percentages, so now you create an advantage for yourself. And that's what we're trying to do with the sets, is to exploit the advantage, maximize the advantage, at the same time, know, if you've got the right version, if you look in the coaster chart, which Brian had a minute ago, all the green columns are the combination V2, V3, and cross sixes set. And each one of those 16 columns has 8 V3s, 8 V2s, and 8 cross sixes. So, 8 times 16, that's, 128 V2s, 128 V3s, and 128 cross sixes. So there's a lot of different V3s. Heavy's V3 reference set is the baseline, so we can identify all the V3s. But when you're tossing, if the V3 is off by one pitch, it's 3-1 on top, but it could still be a V3 just because it's off by one pitch. And one of the things we're learning by using Bone Tracker is, do I as a tosser tend to pitch this way or this way? Clock one forward or one backward. It's important to know that. We were talking before the show, where if you toss the other way, you could make a 7, versus tossing the other way, you're making a 4. And so knowing which way the dice tend to pitch, knowing your tendencies, gives you additional empowerment at the table.
All right, cool. Whew. Hey guys, put a Q if you guys have any questions. I know there's a wealth of knowledge right in front of me. Nate's been like talking and showing us what he does, and it's like for me, Chef Diet, I'm confused. But but again, I know that I'm slowly working on this particular program, and it's only going to better us as a craps player.
Right.
But today, I think G Money, as you guys seen G Money on our Hawaii Crap Shooters shows, the originator of the 5 and 9 press, will be throwing a few numbers, and Nate, you're gonna break it down, right?
Oh, okay. Guess we got to get the laptops out of here. So I'll do full disclosure. I saw G Money when he had his 40 roll hand at. Well, I seem to remember a really large hand at the El Cortez that made me some money, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. And you have a pretty good toss, so this might be the easiest one I've done in a long time. If we got a really plot up toss, we could get money shot up here. Oh, sorry.
El Cortez was stick right, so now I'm gonna try stick left.
Are these laptops in your way?
No.
I'm sure they are.
Very good.
And I'll get the stick.
Yeah, we have 3 laptops sitting here, so that's.
So it's just
So I'm in the cross six,
What are the facing on the front?
facing
Was that
When
right?
5 facing me.
You got a track?
Yeah, we gotta track
Okay.
it. So is this a computer track?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, let's track.
Gotta do the code again.
we're gonna have to.
So guys, we threw about 40 or 50 rolls so far, and then G Money's gonna throw another 5 or 6, so at least we can break it down a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, so let me
Right here.
We got 64 right now.
let me just do a little driving here.
There you go.
We have to do manual because it doesn't look like the macro's working on Money Shot's computer here.
And all you guys, if while Nate's getting this
Yeah,
going,
you gotta do, maybe because it's on Google Forms. That's why I can come on here.
Oh, it's on Google Forms. Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll go manual here then. So,
so everybody,
Can you put it? I mean,
I got it. I think. If I don't, then you can.
so while Nate's getting everything going, just be careful. Like, go to accesspowercrafts.com for more information. While Darth Nater's getting ready.
So we got 6623.
we got another super chat from MB 1999 again.
Thanks, MB. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Just here for one good chef dice celebration.
Wow.
Thank you.
What's going on with that?
Bryson is going 160 across working.
Oh, working.
Oh, Bryson.
Bryson.
Kawhi
Kawhi boy.
Bryson.
Kawhi
Okay, so we're
boy.
starting on 65. Do you have that on the screen there, Brian?
Um,
I'm going to do manual inputs. Is this computer in your way?
No, no, I'm good.
It's going on
I'm gonna go
65,
for the
okay?
corner.
Yeah.
yeah, it's 60. We're showing 64 right now.
Yeah.
So G Money threw about 64 rolls, and then we're gonna throw a little bit more. So basically, Nate's gonna show us what he does.
So that is a
Wow.
5-5.
It's a hard way, yeah? Are you setting it hard ways?
Well, cross fixes.
And if there's any questions, go ahead, put it down, and we can go ahead and answer it.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
What?
Double bounce.
What came out?
PSO.
Oh,
How come you were throwing him into the tournament?
Hey, Nate,
When this
he's throwing over there, then he throws you.
no. It turns.
It's a good thing I forgot to write that one down.
There you go. 7.
Ah,
On the other hand, the 808
Yeah.
Power Man's with the
$97.
$1 super chat for Chef
97.
Dice.
Oh, thank you, the
Let's read down
808
the line.
Fireman.
let's read down the
Appreciate
line.
it. Thank you. I'm gonna buy me a camera,
Good
chest
Trick
camera.
says, is this the same dice set as the previous 30 rolls?
1, 4, 5.
No, we changed the set.
Change the set.
We changed the set.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's a 5-1. We're just talking. We're showing how the tool works.
Yes.
So obviously, if you're using the tool standalone, you wouldn't be changing the sets in the middle. But you know, it is what it is right now for us.
Wow.
617.
it is.
You kind of pushed that one a little
Yeah.
bit with the hand, didn't you?
And
yeah,
here goes
yeah,
Nate. He's breaking down his rules.
yeah, you knew right away. You didn't need me to tell you. I knew I messed that one up.
Money loses his power by cutting his hair.
So 7.
All right,
6. There you
we'll give you a 4-2 on that one.
go. All right. One more. That's it.
Give us
Super
a-
Mario.
One more.
How's it, Super Mario?
Last one. Split.
628.
2-6.
6.
2-6. So we're showing everybody how to do with 2 different dice so that when Brian practices on Friday with the chickens and the trash man, he'll have this nailed in.
So Nate, you recommend 2 different colored dice?
Yeah, definitely. Because one of the things I think you tend, if you're trying to keep track of which is the left and the right,
Right.
you want the dice to do that for you instead of your eye,
Right.
because you need to keep your eye on the landing zone. Is that another 6-2?
6-2.
All right. You want to. I know Brian tries his best to uh,
I got it 50% correct.
yeah, I know. Maybe 55 actually. But I think you're doing yourself a disservice because, when you don't have to worry about which is the left and which is the right, you just worry about where they're going to land. That's really important. Aiming at the landing zone versus trying to follow the dice in the air. Because now
639.
you're making your eye do two different things.
Right.
It's like if you're trying to throw a dart at a bullseye, but you're looking over here at at
Off
the
the obvious.
yeah, exactly.
617.
And that was a pretty good toss, just a bad ball.
So let's go to your room. Go to your room.
I wanna go.
Great.
I wanna go eat
Sit.
upstairs.
Oxtail. Oxtail.
Are you serving that tonight?
No.
You pick up out of that with
All
us?
right.
Bring it up for everyone?
314.
One, three.
1-3. Okay, black.
All right, so we're,
1-3.
Heavy says your arm is not traveling straight down the table. You're
yeah.
hooking it towards the hole.
I'm hooking it towards the hole.
Yeah. They got the overhead cam that's starting.
Oh.
Oh, you got an overhead cam too?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. There
I
you
see.
go. So right away, Heavy's
Yo.
making a $5 horn bet. $5 horn, right?
I'm thinking heavy, but we don't see a $5 super chat from Heavy.
Probably not either. 3-2. 2-3. 2-3. Got me doing it now too. I know. But they're not red and green. See, that's throwing me off.
Now the hook too.
Yep.
1-3.
1-3-4.
I'm getting a lot of those. I think
Hey, Nate, one question. One question for the fans out there. So, you're a numbers guy. You Heavy, Mark, you guys know all this kind of thing. So, you attack a table, okay?
yeah.
And I see this guy throwing, and then I see what numbers is popping out.
Yeah.
Does that make you bet differently for that
Well-
particular person?
It depends on what we know about the person. Okay. If it's a setter, if it's like say I walk to the table and Heavy is tossing,
Right.
and I know Heavy. Heavy is a 6 and 8 machine. So if I see Heavy throw a 6 or an 8, the first time
He's
it
the one.
hits, I'm going to press it because he's the man on 6s and 8s. If I see someone like Banker Dude throws a 4 or a 10, then I'm pressing the 4 and a 10 right away because the set he uses seems to be more rich in field numbers and things
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
So if I see a random person, Heavy will tell you if he sees a random person make like 2 5s within 4 or 5 tosses, then that says the 5 is trending. So if you are a trend follower, then you would follow and you would bet the 5. I'm a little more of a contrarian since I play a lot of dark side. So if I see an 8 come, then I'm going to think the next number is going to be a 6. That works half the time
Right.
because it's still you have no analytics to back that up. It's just, oh, okay, I think. Why do you think that? Well, I
That's
think
interesting. That's interesting because I'm me thinking that you guys see all these numbers. Hey, by the way, everybody out there, all 65 of y'all, breaking news. If you play with Bird Dog and Super Mario, 25, 25, 25 on the ATS. Just a little thing from the little birdie here.
you heard it here
Look,
first.
Here to here, all tall, small. My boys, Craps Nations. Tweet, tweet, tweet.
So we didn't write the last couple down. Sorry about that, John.
Sorry.
But
And,
I think we'll try. We're gonna try.
I think we're good.
We'll try to show where you record your tosses,
Okay.
and then once you record your toss, there's a lot of other tabs on Bone Tracker that can really tell you what's going on with your toss. really important data. So I'm gonna have to switch to one of those tabs now,
Okay, we'll
and
to a different tab.
we're gonna switch to the second tab, which is called the toss stats tab. And do I need to blow that up so we can see it a little more? Let's see.
What Nabe?
You can see the whole screen.
It says 75% now. How's that look, Brian?
Uh, you can make it. It's going to just be smaller, but yeah.
Nate, I know you're thinking right now. How many roles do you regress? God is good. Just was what I want to ask.
Oh,
How many roles you, Darth Nater, regress?
I'm not a big regression guy. I only started regressing for the last year. I'm more one of those guys that I want to get a couple of hits, get my bets paid for, and then it's press, press, press.
Wow,
Uh,
old
now,
school.
well, okay, yeah, but I've been doing it for a long time. Uh, but it depends on the shooter. When we were in Biloxi, and 220 inside was shooting, and he's an inside machine. I didn't regress. I just kept going because it's like, well, okay, he's hit 5 inside numbers in a row, and let's keep going. He hit a few more, and then he had a really funky bounce, and we went to a couple other guys, and then we said, let's pass the dice back to him, and he threw for an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, I saw that picture. You guys
Yeah,
posted that,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That was just it was like I asked him later. I said because he's a classic regressor. He always regresses after three, and he makes a play similar to some of the plays you guys make, where he on the he has the he goes 110 inside, or from Mississippi it's 112 inside,
Mm,
and on the 5 or 9, if that's the first number he tosses, he presses them both up to where he can get 50 for one on the next hit.
okay.
If it's
35.
6 or an 8, he presses that up to 42. And then the second hit, it's whichever one of the two sisters hasn't been pressed. And he wants that third hit. So after that third hit, he collects and then he regresses.
And then
And so that's the play. To fully answer the question, that's the play I've been doing. 2 hits, collect on the third, and then regress down to 76 or 66. And it all depends on what your point is, because when I do it, I'm using a 410 set that gives me a lot of inside numbers. If my point's a 4 or a 10, then I'm going to leave a little bit out there, because if I'm going to cover the 4, then I've got to also cover the 10. So normally, though, I'm starting with a 6-8 set, so I'm always heavy inside. My tactics when I play, and I have a set of sniper sets for the 6 and 8, a set of sniper sets for the 5 and 9, a set of sets for the 4 and 10. Then I also have 2 horn rich sets. I have one that's 2 rich and one that's 12 rich, because the 12 rich one, when you do advanced bone tracking with the coaster chart, you find out right away there's 8 sets that are horn rich. 4 are 2 rich, 4 are 12 rich. Out of those 4 12 rich sets, one of those 12 rich sets is also going to be 11 rich. So that's your come out set. You use the 11-12 set on the come out, because nothing better than to get paid with that yo.
Yeah.
If you need the 2 or 3 for the ATS, then you switch to the 2-3 version. So you have those in your arsenal. You memorize those. So the 24 sets in my coaster chart, which is coaster group 7, I only use maybe 9 of those, and it's really interesting. I'm finding out more and more about a couple of the other ones, so I've kind of expanded. I've got a couple of sets I use when I'm like tired, because I found out that when I have a low axis percentage on the bad days, because there's good days and bad days. And I gotta give Mark credit for this. Mark figured this out, that there's good mark days and bad mark days. And so one of the things I took with that is well, when you're having a bad mark day, it probably means your axial percentages are low. So what numbers you're making when you have like less than 48% on axis? and what numbers are you making when you have greater than 48% on axis? It turns out there's a distinction, different sets on different days. So, we're still learning a lot of this stuff. This is like cutting edge stuff.
Oh, this is.
This is one of the first places I've even mentioned this. So, you got a scoop, buddy. And, but what's interesting is when you start making these kind of realizations, and this is super advanced stuff. I mean, we've got the whole range of people here using bone tracking now, and it's really a challenging thing. As we said before the show started, one of the biggest challenges is people that they just don't have the experience of using Excel and Windows and all that stuff, and so getting started is a really hard thing. And we're trying to coach people through that one-on-one when we do like a basic bone tracker class, and we do those in every seminar. We spend about half our time with just this is how Windows and Excel should be optimized and things like that. So there's a lot going on. As you can see in the room here, we got 4 laptops on on Brian's credit. We got more laptops, I think, than we got dice right now. So we're really cranking on that.
Cool. And then
Yeah, this one went to sleep again. Yeah, we need secret
and again, guys,
password.
accesspowercrafts.com. Check it out for more information. And this should help out some of y'all. I believe in DI, so I'm one of those guys. But there's people out there who don't believe it. But again, to each his own. So hey, this is another advantage.
Let them go to the non-believer channel.
Yeah, and this is another tool. Hawaii Craft Shooters and Chef Dice. We always support the community of the crafts community. And again, this is another tool for you all to use. So again, thank you.
So we want to look at are you still on the second page, the toss stats page there, Brian?
Let me see. Hold on. Second. Yeah, second page.
So for those of you that are just starting with Bone Tracker, here's a couple of tidbits to help. One of the charts I always look at right here is the facial appearance percentage chart. And there's not enough data here to be true. And in fairness to G Money, there's only like 10 of these are his tosses. The other tosses belong to a couple of different people who will remain nameless, right? And but what's important to do is to understand what you're seeing here. Where it says face pattern, you can see which dice face appears the most. And in this case, out of the 6 on the left die, the front-facing face appears 21% of the time. And so that means, every face is going to appear 16% if it's random. But now you've got some level of influence going because you've got a much higher percentage on this face versus what would normally be random. If you look over on the right side, it's actually the bottom die with 22%. So your most common, with this set of dice, your most common value would be what was facing me and then the bottom. And so when you start seeing that, that's the beginnings of being able to tailor your set.
Okay.
So, and what's important, if you go back to the other screen, I stress our producer here, we're going to go back to the roll data screen, go up to the top. When you're looking at these 3 pieces of data, I mean, the both die on axis, 49%. That's pretty good. So whoever these guys were, they're doing a pretty good job.
Right.
Then G Money showed up and added some spurious data at the end. Where's he at now? He's hiding. He's there looking for the chickens. Yeah. Anyway, we've got some pretty good percentage. You see over here how to use Bone Tracker. You see what is probable, which in this case is 44%. Both die on axis versus 49% actual.
Yeah.
So that shows a level of influence. Your primary hits are a little bit low. Primary hits is 2 on the same plane. So if you had the top and top, that's a primary, the front and front, primary, the bottom, and the back. So the fact that you have a lot of, or in this case, very few primary face hits, but then you see you have some, single pitch hits, that means you're getting more single turns like this or like that. So that's data that's important because you want to start studying, are they turning like this or are they turning two ways?
Mhm.
And so we were low on the double pitch. Well, actually, we were about average on the double pitches. And then the other half of the data, the one die off, we're about 50-50. Left goes wonky, right goes wonky. And we're a little high on the both die off. And I'm not sure all these were done with red and green dye. So,
Right.
so there may be some QA to look at. But the idea here is when you're starting out with Bone Tracker,
Okay.
you want to, this is the information you want to look at. A lot of people fall in love with the sevens to rolls ratio. And in this case, it's really fantastic, 10.4. But we see the both die ons pretty good too. But then there's still some room for improvement with the both die going off. This says maybe we got to fine tune the grip a little bit, things like that. And in fairness, it's only 71 rolls, so you really need another couple hundred. I mean, a lot of people will send me their 72 roll sessions and say, "Oh, what do I need to do?" And I'll say, "Well, you need to throw another 300."
So let's like for me, basically I'm a beginner of this. I only look up here.
Yeah,
You just went into more detail, the next phase of
Right.
what you need to do.
that's the next step for you
Right.
is understanding and seeing that and seeing it as you toss it.
Correct. And then, so when we go to accesspowercrafts.com, can we get confused or we need to go to the next level? Can we email you and you guys respond immediately, or
Well,
how does that work?
It won't be immediately.
Yeah,
I mean,
how does that work?
I mean, I get 2 or 3 questions a day on stuff like this, and I try to answer them as fast as I can. And like I'm on vacation now, so there might be a little delay, but I still, people send me their tosses, say, "What do you think?" And obviously, I'll say, "Well, you can take a class and really deep dive into this." But when it comes right down to it, I usually point them toward this screen.
Okay.
And and it's there. They just have to look. And
Right.
so it's new to so many people that you try to let them see where it is on the screen so they can find it. So they find it the first time, then they can find it again and again. And I will take you. Let me take you to another screen, Brian, whenever you're ready. Okay, we're gonna go to the transpose.
One transpose or transpose?
Transpose.
Okay.
So if you wait for that to update on the screen. So the transpose, this is a really important screen.
Okay.
Because a lot of people say, "Oh, gee, I was using the hardware set, and everybody keeps telling me that with my both die on axis is like 50%, and there's a point where when you're just learning, it's so easy to use the hardware set, and because you get that instant feedback when you see a 1 or a 6, you know that one of the dice went wonky.
Yeah.
But there's also a point where once you become skilled and you're on axis like 48%, 49%, now all of a sudden you don't need that kind of feedback. At the same time, you're using a set that has 4 sets on axis. So most people will graduate to a V3 set. So if you have say 1,000 tosses you recorded with your hardware set, you can go right to this tab, and now you can say, "Oh, I had all my hardware set data here. If I had used the V3, which is the second column in gray here, I could see what my results would have been if I had used the V3 for that last 1,000 tosses." And right next to that's the V2, so I use the V2, and that way you can learn what would have been without having to now do 1,000 V3 tosses and 1,000 V2 tosses. Cool.
Wow. Ooh. Incredible. All right. So going back, let everybody know out there where they can get in touch with you.
So it's accesspowercrafts.com, www.accesspowercrafts.com. And you know, there's links on there where they can get to me and Heavy and Mark and, you know, Ed Robinson, all the instructors.
Right, right.
And
How many instructors you have? 4 of you?
you have 4 plus Heavy. Heavy's, you know, the master of the domain.
Heavy. Roll 2 in. Mark. And you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also have Kevin. He's an assistant instructor.
Nice, nice.
You know, he's everywhere is very solid.
And then August, you guys have
August, we have Heavy has a seminar at Same Bets in Wichita,
okay.
which is a small boutique pop-up, he calls them. And then we have the next big full-blown seminars in Biloxi, the 18th of September.
Right.
We Ain't No Afraid of Hurricanes seminar.
Check it out.
I might say we also do bone tracking instruction on Fridays. And there's 2 classes we do for bone tracking. There's the basic bone tracker, how to do it, how to work it, all that stuff. And then there's also the advanced, where everybody sends a book of rolls like 3 weeks ahead of time. I analyze and write like an 8 or 9 page report on their book, and then we go through it with 2-on-1 format, so everybody kind of learns it twice. And we actually had 6 of the 8 of those are already sold out for September in Biloxi. So,
Congratulations.
and then we've got another class in November in Las Vegas. So all Las Vegas classes at my house. I have the full size craps pit,
Nice.
and
How long are the classes?
the classes are 2.5 days, and then most people wind up hanging around on Monday and playing.
Hit the casinos after.
Yeah, we tend to all go as a group, and like our last class in Biloxi, we had 2 of our biggest rolls were on Monday, and we had Mark's giant roll on Saturday night, or I guess it was Sunday night. It was after the classes were over,
Right.
but most of the guys were still in town. So we had one guy who was in the class. He was like, wow, I've never had a bet on the craps table over $30. And he just went to 900 on his 6
Wow.
and got a hit. And he's like, oh, this is good stuff, you know. And so, you know, one of the things that you know is fantastic about the classes is on the Sunday morning, Heavy and I do a betting class, and it's like 40% dark side, 40% right side, 20% hybrid, where we talk about power presses and all those kind of things. And then it's actually cool to see people put it to work.
Right.
And we had one kid where you with the heavy power press for the 6 and the 8 is the big move is when you're at 180 on the 6, you drop 30 and go to 420 when the 6 hits, and that's a hard move for people the first time. And one of the things Ed did with Mr. Roll to win, he just sits there with his green chip and his red chip. We got a guy that was colorblind, didn't know the first time he put down 2 red chips, and he thought it was a red and a green. So he's got the green and the red in his hand. We're just waiting. We're waiting for Mark to throw that 6 so we can drop 30 and go to 420. And so those are the kind of things you do. And it's like now it's like, oh, I'm not afraid. I got my, you know, the biggest bet I've ever had is $30, and I got 30 in my hand to go to 420. This is fantastic stuff. And so yeah, it's really great to watch people grow at like light speeds like that.
You know what?
A couple questions.
Yes, let's go. Let's go, Mr. Money Shot.
Duracell says, what about sniping extremes to make gear?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, the key to that is which number do you need on the ATS? Is it the 2 or the 12? Because, I mean, let's face it. Yeah. Well, the setting for the 12 is different than setting for the 2 because, you know, nothing worse than a set for the 2 and get a 12, right? So you've got to know the set that produces a 12 and the set that produces a 2. One of the little tricks I do. This is Nate 101, right? And this is okay. So if you know your set, say this is my set for the 12. It's the 4665. Put that up here, up there, Money Shot. So if this is working for me, and I'm going to make a 12, this one's going to catch up like this, and there's my 12. Now, if I'm throwing this, I'm throwing from the end of the table. I'm using this set, and all I'm seeing is ones. One of the numbers is like I get like a 2-1 or a 4-1. So that tells me that I'm getting an extra half a rotation. So maybe I should go to the set that I use for twos, and then now I'm going to get sixes on top. So you need to know what your 12 set is, and you know what your two set is, and then you still need to be able to diagnose on the fly because there's no guarantee. I'll give you an example. One of my clients who sends me a book of rolls every month, uh, that's a particularly interesting question for him. He wants to know how his twos and 12s are, and he's at the point now where he has one set that will give him like 48 12s and 18 twos. So 48 and 18, that's still more than what you would expect for 720 rolls, which is 20 and 20. But symmetrically, there's going to be a set that gives him just the opposite. It's going to give him 48 twos and 18 12s. So, he's still got two sets that's going to give him that large a combination. I mean, let's face it, if you can make 48 12s versus a norm of 20, now you've increased your chances, not exponentially, but you've improved them. You've got a better chance of making a 12 with a set that makes a 12. So that's why Bone Tracker is so important to tools, because now you can start honing in on what are the sets, or what are my tendencies, so that when they pitch this way, am I going to get the 12 or am I going to get like a 6? And so that's why studying the on-axial performance is so important.
Okay.
That's a long question for during set.
It's great because that's my problem. I can't hit aces and 12s.
Yeah, and there's still no guarantee you're going to hit them with this, but all you're trying to do is improve your chances.
All right, everybody, we got 5 more minutes, and you guys know me. I don't do no strategies. I just love to throw. But here's a hard question. Can you throw for us?
Yeah!
Wait.
Oh,
I
man.
just came back from my trip. I haven't thrown in 2 weeks. I know you've been traveling a lot.
Yeah, I've been in Utah at the caverns.
I just got so many guys here asking. We just want to watch Nate throw. He's very knowledgeable, but hey, it's up to you. And by the way, it's up to you. I'm not going to put no pressure on you.
Oh yeah, that's no pressure at all.
But I can't. I can drop it.
Yeah, do you want me to throw them at Brian? Here you go, Brian.
So, it's your call, but again, yes. Thank you again, Nate.
I'm happy to throw a couple, but you gonna throw a couple too then?
Everybody knows I'm the most exciting dice shooter in the country.
Wow. All right.
All right, hey, Vince, got you. I got you. All right, let's go.
Because she kept saying,
All right.
Brian, you got it, Brian? All right, let's set it up. You know what? To be honest, you just throw. Just warm up.
Let me move that mic. And you gotta move the laptops, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna shoot from right here. Unless you want me to shoot from here.
No. You get comfortable. I want you to bang.
ping
Or murdered.
pong ping, ping pong, ping pong,
Where do you want me, Brian?
ping pong.
Anywhere, because it'll catch you. And
Brian, don't put it on it.
yeah.
Ping pong. Don't throw it there, Brian.
I like ping pong.
Okay, wait.
Just let's go. What's up?
I know if we're gonna do this, I would have practiced for a couple hours. Let's see. We gotta get rid of the laptops here.
Melo, excuse me.
Unless, of course, that was a good number. So.
No, thinking, shut up, you go. Ale?
Hey.
Clearing it off. Okay.
Cleaning up, guys.
So you're traveling, right?
Oh, you go travel.
Okay. All right.
Eh.
Hey, Nate, everybody say mahalo.
Minor.
Yeah, let's mark it.
What's that? 6-3.
Warming up.
Yeah, he's warming up. He's warming up.
Okay. I guess I should use the same color every time then.
And you can stop whenever you want, and then we can say bye-bye.
I'll be warmed up in an hour, so.
You know why? Because he gonna show a freaking 50 roll right now.
Hard 6.
Hard 6.
See?
Or 100.
Hard
Right.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Those are 2 good misses there.
There.
Yeah, Pat. Hope you have rum like that and then you
That's a
nice mustard tail. Nice one.
I know.
9
I just made my point.
Yeah.
Point
Make
made.
the point.
point made.
Point made is 3 rolls.
So this is the money shot now, right?
Yeah.
See, I watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm watching.
All right, so we got 2 9s, 1 6 on his 4th roll.
This is
I'm supposed to drink to have fun.
My hands are really damp here.
like Nate sets it backwards and then he turns. Watch this. See? You see that?
Whoa, that stuck to my finger. Oh, just a yellow come out.
Winner, yo,
No, it's
winner in the come out.
there you go.
Right, on to the 5th roll,
I saw
everyone.
him throw like this in the frame.
Here we go.
Frame on.
He goes not full.
Because I was at the end and he looked at me. See it coming.
9 again.
Just another nine.
Point now.
4 2 4 9s.
So Ed Robinson probably has this nine 200 by now, right?
And Ed's killing it right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is the 6th.
At supermarket, let's go.
Grand 100.
Um,
10.
mustard.
10. Hey, let's get the 8 tiers for everybody. Yes. This is the 7th roll right here.
Set 12. Talking that. I'm so sorry.
Go for the 12.
So a 12 has been requested. Okay.
It was been accepted.
It's getting to us.
Yeah. That's right. It's making my fingers nice and sweaty. I'm sure it's the heat and not the pressure, right?
There's no pressure. We've been doing this for so many years.
That's right.
Brian, you're making me so hot.
5.
Good enough.
2 3 5. Going on the 8th roll.
But that was a primary hit.
Yes, yes. And what is this set?
This was the 12 set. Someone requested a 12.
Did. It was me.
And you saw how effective that was.
Right?
Was that the chicken?
No, that was.
That was Corey.
Let's go.
Eight.
8. Now you need the
It's all tall. He needs the song.
Now we really need.
Oh, man.
We gotta shoot.
You got a shooter. We got a shooter.
The crowd goes wild.
Wow, we need a 12, guys. They're all tall.
Wow, you know why? It's because it.
Four. Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Super Mario. You got. Right?
Oh, nice here, guy.
2 3 12.
There we go.
Oh, that's the right set right there.
What?
The crap set. We need the crap set.
Are we going to see the sniper?
Sniper no smashing.
All right.
Alright.
10.
Nate, fire.
Nate, you're on fire. Lava, lava.
That's right, the hot lava.
Speed of Kukui.
Hey, Mr. Money Shot.
Bring it lava, bring it on.
We got to shoot. I saw him shoot and he got his hat.
Hey, I Mr. Love Lava.
I saw. 10.
Don't talk to the shooter.
Six.
Don't touch him.
Number 10.
Let's roll what? What now is
12 roll.
Level up. So I said level up.
12th roll. Need the 2, 3, and 12 for all tall small.
I'm gonna give him the Fremont hat.
$25 crap check.
Well, he brought his own Fremont.
Let's
Can't give him that.
Bad roll.
Nate,
Hey.
super soft.
man,
Devastate.
Nate lives in Las Vegas. I will be giving him a call.
That's
Right.
He's maybe
Nate,
14.
And Nate.
Today.
Back at the airport.
Canara
After the airport.
McLaren.
See bastards. All does he get?
What about a kid's name?
Oh.
No. Oh. Another camera. Oh, you want to come over, bro?
Digit, double digit.
Fidget.
Nate.
You want me to stick for you now?
No.
See Chef Daishin?
No, Nate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll it. Hey, you guys want to see Chef Dice roll? Yeah. We're gonna go live on HCS in about 30 minutes. So, all right, guys. Again, on behalf of Chef Dice, Hawaii Crab Shooters, and the Hawaii Crab Shooters Ohana, we'd like to thank Nate on his vacation here in Oahu, Hawaii. And guess what? You guys were texting and emailing and whatever. We want Nate to shoot. We want Nate to shoot. Guess what? He's a hot shooter, and he proved us right that we saw it before. But again, Nate, thank you for taking that challenge. And again, go to where to get all the information.
www.accesspowercrafts.com. Gives you all the seminar information, talks about all the Access Power Crafts. You can also email me at darthnaterdiced@gmail.com. And start with the website and then go from there. If you have any questions on Bone Tracker, you can actually put them on the forum. That way everybody can see them. And then we can all answer them and everybody can learn. Because the whole idea is learning.
Right. Learning, another option for you all out there, Heavy, and everybody out there. Thank you very much. Till we roll again. Chef Dice out.
Out.
Out.